Hey, what's up guys? This is Justin Johnson. As you can probably tell, I've got a new guitar in the studio today, and appropriately, I've got my ceremonial unboxing knife ready for action right here. I'm particularly interested in this one and sharing this one with you guys. I've never really played a guitar like this. I'm gonna bust this baby open. I'm gonna show you the guitar, of course, and kind of give you my first impressions and what it's like playing this guitar. But first of all, let's unleash the beast right here, the ceremonial unboxing knife, and get this baby out of here. Let's check this baby out. This is the, oh man, that is gorgeous. This is the Cort Modern Black. It is just, first of all, you know, I've seen pictures of this and it's hard to tell in some of the pictures, like, is it solid black or does it have like this kind of wood grain to it? And you can tell it's just got this beautiful finish to it. It's definitely like a blackish gray, like a graphite, like a dark graphite kind of color, but it has these natural wood tones kind of popping through, and it gives it this really beautiful finish to it, this really beautiful look. All right, so I've got it out of the case, and there are a few things I'm noticing just right off the bat before I even play anything on this guitar, some things standing out to me. One thing is, of course, when you look at it, you'll notice it has no sound hole on the front, on the top of the guitar. It's got these two sound holes on the top. They're called ports, like sound ports, and they're designed to project the sound up to the player, so the player really gets the benefit of that extra projection. It's kind of like having an acoustic stage monitor shooting right up at you while you're playing. But one of the things that I love about this too is you can see directly into the guitar. You can see that scalloped X bracing. You can see the pickup system. I mean, it's really trippy. It's like you get to see this, like you get like X-ray vision on all the bracing. Another thing I noticed is that the neck, not only does it feel good, it's got a nice contour to it, but it's a satin finish. So the guitar has a gloss finish. You'll notice even the back, the sides, all this mahogany back and sides. It's all this nice glossy finish, but the back of the neck is a satin finish. And that's not just something cosmetic. The reason you want that is because you get a smoother feel, and you can move easier up and down the neck when the neck has a satin finish to it. Also, the guitar is incredibly light. It's very comfortable, very well balanced, and I love this. This is a similar feature to the Gold Passion model Cort that I have. It's got this beveled edge right here where your forearm anchors to the body. So it's super comfortable, and it just feels almost like an electric guitar, the way that your arms can just sort of hug it. When you're playing for hours and hours, if you're playing a long live set or you're in the studio all day, you don't get this sharp edge kind of digging into your forearm, which is really common with almost every acoustic guitar. So it takes a lot of woodworking, it takes a lot of skill to put a bevel on an acoustic guitar like that, but it's worth it, and it feels really great when you play it. Also, you know, just aesthetically, it's got the gold hardware, got these nice gold tuners right here. All the accents are wood though on the guitar. It's really cool. The binding around the headstock is wood. The inlay is wood, and if you can tell really close up, there are nuances to the tones of the wood. Like, it's not just a block. It's not just like a brown block inlay. It has a darker block here, and then there's like a lighter wood that is kind of like binding around the block inlay. And then on the 12th fret, it looks like they reversed that. So they use the lighter wood on the 12th fret block with the more of a mid-tone wood on the binding around that block. It's a really beautiful design. Ebony fretboard, spruce top. It's a master grade spruce top, solid woods all the way around, back, sides, and top. So everything should sound amazing. If you just look at the specs, nothing to indicate this wouldn't be an amazing sounding guitar. But let's put it through the test. So I'm gonna really dive into some different playing styles and give you all of my feedback, all of my observations as I'm doing that for you. So I've never actually played or mic'd a guitar like this with these sound ports that shoot up. So right now I've got a microphone right here, actually, It's picking up my voice, and I'm just going to point that towards the sound ports right now and see what kind of natural sound I get through the microphone. So I'm not plugged in, no effects. This is just what the guitar sounds like in my lap right now. First impressions. This thing is on fire. It is so responsive, man. I'm trying to think of the right words to describe like the kind of like the punch of it and the attack of it. And responsive is kind of like an understatement. Again, I'm not sure. If it's these sound ports that are giving me so much response from the guitar, because you know when you're thinking about it, like a lot of the sound of the guitar comes through the sound hole, and when the sound hole is right here, all of that sound is going out, which is kind of like going to your audience or going to the microphone in front of you, whatever the case may be. And I've always kind of wished that I could hear what the guitar sounds like from there. Because when you think about it, when you're usually playing an acoustic guitar with the normal kind of conventional sound hole, you're not really hearing what the guitar sounds like from the optimal position for listening. So when you're learning guitar, when you're playing, when you're practicing, you're getting used to your acoustic guitar. Imagine like hearing it from the side. That's essentially what you're doing when you're playing most acoustic guitars. So with this position right here, you know, I've always kind of wondered, like, is it really that much different when you have sound ports on an acoustic guitar? And it is like a very noticeable difference. It's really interesting. There's a lot of presence and a lot of punch. There's a lot more attack that I can hear off of the note. Like when I dig into a string, it flies right at me very, very assertively. I love that, you know, it's a dynamic sound because when you play soft and sensitively, you hear a difference between when you dig in and play louder. So, you know, if I were to play just with my fingers too, get that nice sort of warmer attack. I'm playing with the flesh of my fingers now, not with the pick anymore. Still a lot of articulation to the note, even when I'm playing, you know, without a pick and I'm just using the flesh of my fingertips. Another thing I'm noticing is how comfortable the neck is. It's not a super thin neck. It's got a really nice contour that kind of fills, you know, the cup of your hand when you play it. But one of the things they did, it's an asymmetrical neck contour. So it actually shifts with the way that you naturally, kind of like the ergonomic way that you position your hand and the direction that your hand kind of comes from your body when it approaches the neck. So instead of having the same symmetrical contour from the headstock all the way down to the body, it sort of shifts its position to kind of accommodate your natural hand position, which is really fascinating. All right, again, this is all just with this microphone right up here. I haven't even really put anything into position yet, But let me try a little strumming here and just kind of get the feel of how it sounds when I'm just strumming with a flat pick. Great balance with the levels of bass, the treble. You know, this is a really, it's a really bright, articulate guitar, but one thing that I generally don't like about bright, punchy guitars is that a lot of times they will give you too much treble. They'll give you a lot of string squeaks, a lot of pick noise, a lot of the kind of high-end information that isn't really attractive to listen to. You have a really smooth mid-range and a really smooth treble on this guitar. And even though the bass is there and it's got a nice bass presence, it's a very well-articulated bass. So when I strum, it doesn't sound too like chimey. It has a nice sparkle to it, but it's like a woody sparkle and it's an organic sparkle, which is really a hard thing to do. Also, when I want to play something where I accentuate the bass line, like what I was just playing. On some guitars that are too heavy on the bass frequencies and the low mids, you'll hear those bass notes, but they will all kind of get muddy. You won't hear a lot of definition on the wound strings, on the bass strings. All right, so I'm going to check out this piezo system, the pickup system on this guitar. It's a Fishman Matrix Infinity pickup system. It's got a volume knob and a tone knob right here on the front sound port, so real easy access to the controls for the volume and the tone. I'm plugging straight into my interface right now, so straight into the preamp. And basically, I'm just going to add a little bit of reverb. I always, across the board, always add a little bit of reverb to a piezo pickup, just because when you just plug this piezo straight in, it's just kind of dry. It has no like room sound to it. So that's all you're hearing right now is basically the pickup with a little bit of reverb. I think when you really want to get the most out of an acoustic electric, what I like to do when I'm recording it is to mix the microphone sound with the piezo sound and, kind of strike a balance between the two where you get the organic sound of the guitar right in front of you. You get that from the microphone, and then you get a little added articulation, a little added power, and some more versatility from getting the sound from the piezo and just dialing in enough of that. So let's hear what that sounds like. All right, so that is the Cort Modern Black. Just absolutely loving this guitar. My first impressions of this guitar are that I had pretty high hopes. I had high expectations for this. I know it's one of their masterpiece line of guitars, but it just does everything you want it to. It really blew me away, especially the sound that you get from the perspective of playing it with these sound ports. Again, this was a new thing for me, is exactly this type of layout on an acoustic guitar. And I always kind of wondered, like, does that make a big difference? It really does, and you kind of have to play it to believe it. The response you get from it, the dynamic response especially, like loud notes versus quiet notes, and how the guitar really reacts instantly to those little nuances. Really, really great. Really great on that. Also, the comfort of it. It's one of the most comfortable acoustic guitars I've ever played, especially given this bevel right here on the body. It's such an important comfort thing. I kind of wish all acoustic guitars had that. Really is a big deal once you start playing it, and especially if you play for long periods of time. That really makes a big difference. Also, the little things that you just notice when you play it, the little things that Cort thought of, like the satin finish on the neck versus the gloss finish on the body, the overall weight and balance of it, the asymmetrical contour on the back of the neck. All of these things you might not notice when you first play it, but they put a lot of thought into those details. And when you play it for a long time and you really start to get comfortable on an instrument, and you realize, it's these details that take that over the line and really turn this into something that kind of like exceeds your expectations. All right, guys, so as always, thanks for watching. Thanks to Cort for sending this out to me to share with you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and see you next time. You guys rock.